Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be completely unpacking the epic origin story of a boy who grew up to build, well, an absolute powerhouse of an empire. Not just any empire, mind you, we're talking about one of the most formidable in all of Indian history. Today, we're zeroing in on the genesis of a truly visionary king, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. We're going to see exactly how a legend is built, literally from the ground up. Okay, let's dive right into this. Just listen to this. In the year 1630, at the mighty Shivneri Fort, a child was born who would one day change the course of Indian history. Wow. I mean, just imagine the sheer weight of those words, right? We are stepping straight into the insanely high-stakes world of 17th century Maharashtra. It's a time of clashing swords, constantly shifting alliances, and just incredible historical drama. And right smack in the middle of all that chaos, a legend begins.
So, let's look at part 1, Birth Amidst Chaos, 17th century India.
Right, so to really understand the man, we've got to look at the world he was born into. Shivaji was born on February 19, 1630, to Shahaji Bhosle, who was a highly respected military commander, and his deeply courageous wife, Jijabai. But, this wasn't some peaceful, quiet royal nursery, not at all. 17th century India was, quite frankly, an absolute powder keg. It was completely rife with intense political conflicts and these massive, sweeping power struggles between competing kingdoms. Basically, he took his first breaths in a fractured world that was deeply scarred by war. And that stark juxtaposition, it's absolutely vital. It tells us exactly why his environment demanded, literally required, that he become a warrior king just to survive.
Moving on to part 2, A Mother's Epic Lessons, the Guidance of Jijabai.
So, while the outside world was totally chaotic, the inside world of young Shivaji was being carefully, almost meticulously curated by a profoundly influential figure, his incredibly courageous and deeply religious mother, Jijabai. She didn't just passively raise him, she actively forged his mindset. She totally immersed him in the epic stories of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, vividly recounting the righteousness of Rama and the laser-like focus of Arjuna. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter for us today? Well, because these weren't just your standard bedtime stories to pass the time. Oh no, this was a deliberate, highly systematic method to construct an unshakable moral compass within the young boy. It's like she was using the raw power of narrative to teach him exactly how to navigate a truly treacherous world. And the direct result of all those epic tales? The instilling of 3 massive, absolutely crucial core values: courage, justice, and leadership. You see, Shivaji's legendary leadership wasn't just something he magically stumbled into on the battlefield later on. Actually, scratch that. It was forged years earlier, right at home, baked right into the stories told by his mother. These specific values became his absolute guiding principles, his true north, so to speak.
Which brings us to part 3, Forged by the Deccan, Love for the Homeland.
And this brilliantly illustrates how his environment shaped him. We've got the intense historical context and his strong moral foundation, but what about his physical world? Well, his immediate surroundings were the rugged hills, dense forests, and ancient forts of the Deccan region. And here's a totally fascinating fact to put that into perspective. The Sahyadri Mountains are famously unforgiving. With over 300 treacherous hill forts dotting the landscape, just navigating them is a massive physical feat of endurance. He wasn't locked away in some fancy gilded palace. No way. He was out there, trekking through those forests and connecting directly with the ordinary villagers who actually lived there. He learned about their daily struggles, their deep connection to the earth, and that cultivated a fiercely deep love for his homeland. The landscape itself was literally a living crucible for the future king.
All right, part 4, The Making of a Warrior, Military Training.
Okay, so he's got the moral drive from his mom and this deep love for his land from exploring. But to actually survive, let alone conquer in 17th century India, he needed practical martial tools. Enter another incredibly important influence, Dadoji Khandep, who was specifically tasked with overseeing Shivaji's training. And it was this rigorous, highly logical progression. Step 1, horse riding. Step 2, swordsmanship. Step 3, archery. And finally, step 4, strict military discipline. This wasn't just some random assortment of hobbies for a royal kid. It was the deliberate, step-by-step, systematic construction of a highly disciplined warrior. Khandep was basically taking the raw material of a boy with a strong moral compass and molding him into a lethal, fiercely capable commander. Every single step was a vital tool for the harsh reality he was going to face.
Now, looking at this timeline, his incredibly rapid maturation process is just striking.
We start at his birth at Shivneri Fort in 1630, and by the time we jump forward to just age 12, a visionary leader is already emerging. 12! It's honestly breathtaking how fast he had to grow up. The sources tell us that by the time he was merely 12 years old, Shivaji had already demonstrated remarkable intelligence, unmistakable bravery, and the absolute foundational leadership qualities of a great warrior king. It's like all those ingredients, the pure chaos of his birth, his mother's epic lessons, his love for the rugged Deccan, and that intense martial training had totally coalesced into something amazing.
So, what does this all mean for us? Well, it leaves us with a single, incredibly powerful question. If this was really only the beginning, if his foundation was already this rock solid by the time he was just 12 years old, how in the world did he rise from these early years to ultimately build the mighty Maratha Empire? It really makes you realize we've only just scratched the surface of what is a truly extraordinary journey. I hope this deep dive into his origins has totally sparked your curiosity to explore what happens next in history. Thanks for joining me on this explainer today, and keep exploring.